Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be starting a brand new campaign with the Demon Prince for Warhammer 3. So as always, if you enjoy the content, please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out a ton on the channel. Check out the rest of the content as well. We already have a Nurgle campaign and an Ogre campaign, and I'm going to be uploading a Cathay and a remastered Slaanesh campaign as well. So be sure to check all that out. And I'm going to have guides for each of those, and a guide for this campaign that'll show up in the upper right here, just at the start of the video. So be sure to click on that and check that out if you want more depth. I'm going to go over some of the things in the first couple of episodes, what my strategy is going to be, but if you want even more depth, then go check that out. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. And it's legendary, very hard, as usual. Okay, so the Demon Prince is pretty unique from a lot of the other factions. You get to kind of choose how you want to specialize with him. So he has sort of, in many cases, watered-down versions of some of the mechanics from the other factions that are available to him. In some cases, it could actually be stronger, though. And I think in the case of Khorne, who we're going to specialize in, then it is going to be stronger. So let me get in here and I'll show you how this works. So similar to the Norskins, this is their tech tree. And whenever you devote so much, I guess that part's not similar to the Norskins. This is their tech tree. But similar to the Norskins, you can devote each one of your battle victories, and every time you take a town, you can devote that to a specific god. And as you raise up that bar, then you unlock different units for that lord, and you unlock special items. He does not get normal items, he does not get normal followers or ancillaries. It's only what he gets out of this tree. And you can, level up all of them as much as you want until you get to a certain point, which we'll talk about here in a second. But you still have to have a corresponding town dedicated to that god, built up to a certain level in order to recruit the unit. So just because you might have access to, for example, the Chaos Spawn, as far as building this up, you would still have to build a tier 3 Khorne town in order to get that Chaos Spawn. So keep that in mind. And you do get bonuses for your specific lord with some of these cases. So this typically, like these bonuses here, apply to everything, all of your lords in the entire faction. So this +8 bonus versus infantry for all core units, that's for every lord. But then once you get down into the items, there are certain item sets that only give you bonuses for this lord if you have all of those items in the set. So if you have these 3 items for this one, for example, then you get +10 armor for bloodletters and +10 for exalted bloodletters as well. And then sort of your higher level things here, this is +10 infantry for all Khorne units in your army. And then Nurgle, you get +20% casualty replenishment for your Nurgle units. So it wants you to specialize in a specific god, because all of these are just going to get bonuses for that specific type of unit. So you can kind of mix and match and bring in different units if you want, but they're going to be missing on some of those bonuses, and particularly once you specialize in a god here, once you get to a certain amount, you can go hardcore specialization. You get like these big time bonuses for a lot of the units. You get some really powerful sets near the end here, and those will give you a 60% upkeep reduction just for this army for those specific units. So you really, really want to specialize in a specific army as much as possible. Now, there is a bonus here for your entire faction that also encourages you to keep going for the same type of unit. So this is -25% upkeep faction-wide and -50% recruitment cost for Khorne units. So not only does it encourage your main lord to be specialized, but it encourages all of your lords to be specialized in that specific lord. Now you can go unspecialized up here with Demons of Chaos, but it's significantly weaker, I think. You do get some upkeep reduction for everything, and you can kind of mix and match, but your armor sets aren't going to be as strong. Like, look at that. You get, for your Lord's army, you get 15% physical resist and 20 armor. I mean, like, that is good, but, that's not as good as 60%, cost reduction and some of these other bonuses that you get. Now, you can get access to all of the big units from each roster, but again, you're going to have a tier 5 building for each one of these if you want to be able to hire these things. And some of it's redundant. It's like if you have high tier cavalry that's good, like anti-infantry cavalry, do you really need other high tier anti-infantry cavalry? So you can go for this tree if you want, the undivided, but I think it's significantly weaker than the others. Also, you don't get any faction-wide bonuses right here if you go undivided, right? Versus down here, you're getting the, you know, the extra public order, you're getting the extra +8 versus infantry. You don't get any of that. In fact, you don't even get any units over here. So you have to specialize in a specific lord in order to get units, and then you can go undivided at the end if you want to. But again, you're going to get a lot of variety, but it's not going to be as strong most of the time. Okay, let's go ahead and get a fight here, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what my strategy is going to be. And I do want to manually fight some of these early, just so I don't take too much damage, because some of these fights can get a little rowdy early on. You are surrounded by hostiles, mostly, as the Demon Prince, and so it is a pretty challenging start position. But if you take out scaling early, a couple of the other tribes up here will like you for that, and you can befriend them. The ones on the west coast, I think it's Bersaling, forgot how it's pronounced, and then the blanket on the name, with the little green one with the cross on it. You can get both of those to at least do non-aggression with you, and then that'll shore up your left side, and then you just have to worry about the constant incursions from the sea at the south, and then the people to the east. So it's probably one of the harder start positions in the game, just because that ocean is really obnoxious to work around. But I'm going to go Nurgle in the very early game, just because the Nurglings are some of your pound-for-pound best infantry, most cost-efficient infantry you can get. If you go straight Khorne right from the very beginning, then they don't have any infantry. Like, it's literally just dogs at tier 1. You have to get to tier 2 before you can get the Chaos Warriors, and you have to have so much demonic influence or whatever, demonic glory, in order to unlock them. So you have no infantry early as Khorne, and the infantry you can get is very expensive, either the Bloodletters or the Warriors of Chaos, until you get some of those cost reductions, which we are going to try to rush those really quickly. But yeah, for the first little bit, we're going to be Nurgle, and then we're going to switch over to Khorne after that. And the reason that Khorne is so strong, first of all, they have the bloodletting feature, which is incredibly powerful if you're really aggressive. You know, just let our ranged guys focus them down. You can't even see it in the snow, but they're just like pelting them with all this magical stuff. Another reason to start off with Nurgle is because if you make your first town Khorne, then you're going to get a Bloodletter dude, or whatever, I forgot the hero guy in the hero version, and he doesn't have any magic. And you obviously want access to magic, so you want to pick someone, either Nurgle, probably, or maybe Tzeentch early. What is it, Rory? What? Okay, well, just wait a little bit and I can get you some more, okay? Daddy's got to finish this. Okay, let's go ahead and get these guys out of here just to give them some space. So yeah, getting the Nurglings early, I think, is the way to go. And then you also get, I think the Plague Ridden is the best caster, because you get heal later on, like AoE healing is fantastic. And Stream of Corruption early on is a very good, cost-efficient wind spell. Also, Nurgle early on can give you quite a bit of growth, which is handy. Now, you can get a lot of growth once you get Bloodletting. Then you can get a lot of growth. if you have multiple wards that are constantly fighting and winning, you can get a lot of growth off of that too. So Nurgle does also have the best economy, because you can, and once you get to a certain threshold of Nurgle buildings, or Nurgle technologies, then you do get 100 extra gold off of this one building, which is pretty clutch. Versus with Khorne, you have to have a Lord in order to get 100 gold off of that building, and with Slaanesh, I think you have to have more than 50 public order or control, which is not good. Your public order is pretty bad if you commit to a single god. Now, I'm not sure if it switches over to that corruption giving you public order once you commit. I haven't gotten that far yet. But as it stands early in the game, you need Chaos Undivided to get the extra public order. But there's no way you can have towns that give you Undivided Chaos. You can do a Provincial Edict to do it. But in other words, your public order is a lot harder to manage with him than it is with most of the other Chaos Lords. Now, Khorne does have a thing you can get where it's like +1 control for every concurrent war, as one of their technology things that you can get. So that is helpful. You can get some control buildings. It's just a little bit more of something that you have to pay attention to. Your towers are also not great with Khorne, or with the Daemons. They're some of the worst in the game. The Daemons Undivided, because it requires 1350 to unlock cannon towers, versus with Nurgle at 500 gold you have a cannon tower. I think a couple of the other factions you do as well. And then things like Ogres are 950 for the cannon towers. But with the Demons, you gotta have the full 1350, which is rough. Yeah, I think I do. Trying to decide if we want to. I think we'll do the first one as Nurgle, because I do want to make sure I get these wings, and I can't remember the threshold early on. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Okay. Occupy this. Nurgle. So now we're gonna get a Plague Ridden. And if we want more Plague Ridden, which we want one Plague Ridden in each army, we're going to have to make a Nurgle town and then get it up to tier 3. And that gives you +1 capacity for Plague Ridden. So we do want that as our caster. And then this is going to give us access to Plague Toads early. And so now we can get Nurglings, Plague Toads, which are pretty good disruptors early on. Now, most of the other towns we're going to take early are going to be ports. So that's really annoying, because we're not going to be able to... I mean, it's good for money and growth, but we're not going to be able to build any more recruitment buildings. So that's another thing, is you kind of have to just make a lot out of the Nurglings early on. Okay, just going to do that. A couple of Nurglings. As far as skills go, you can specialize in each one of the lords. Now, the big thing here is you get an upkeep reduction for that type of unit once you get right here. And over here, Unholy Resilience in Nurgle is really strong. The 30% casualty replenishment on your Lord, it means you can use him very comfortably to face tank a lot of things in a battle and then just recover right after the battle. So that's incredibly powerful early on. And then, so we're probably going to go for that first, because we're going to have a bunch of Nurglings and Nurgling units until we can replace them, most likely with Exalted Bloodletters, or at least normal Bloodletters later. So we want to start with Nurgle, and then we're probably just going to go casualty replenishment for the Lord's army. You could make an army, or an argument for going for Nurglings, Plague Bearers, Exalted Plague Bearers, and Forsaken for the extra melee attack. But we're probably going to be fielding mostly Khorne units later. So this heals all of your units in your army by 6%. It doesn't matter what type it is. So I think that's probably the best way to go. And then we're going to get the Upkeep Reduction, Unholy Resilience, and then we're going to start going for the Khorne stuff. Now, up here in the Undivided, this is okay. It does give you glory for all glory gained. That is handy. This can give you corruption in your local province that you're standing in. Undivided corruption, you have growth, a little bit of public order. Now this is nice if you want to try to get some military alliances with some of the Northmen, and particularly some of the other Chaos factions. So that is handy, and we'll probably get that eventually, because you do have Root Marcher up there, you do have Lightning Strike, which is not as good as it used to be, but it's still pretty good. And then if you put 3 points in, you can get an additional 15%. Now, once you go all the way, though, like once we max out Corn, remember we're going to get a 60% upkeep reduction in our army, 15% overall, or 25% overall for all Corn units for our entire faction. That's 85%. And then this is already going to give us the 15% there. So that's already 100%, like, once you finish it. So, like, this is good kind of in the mid-game, but it's not going to be that helpful late game unless we want to get some Nurgle units, which maybe we do. Maybe we'll sprinkle in a couple of Nurgling units, or a couple of Nurgle units in there. Because they do have some decent debuffers, particularly Beast of Nurgle is pretty handy because it's a siege attacker, and it does have Slime Trail on it, which is pretty good. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then as far as your items go, you can kind of play dress up here. Again, you kind of want to commit to one theme, and particularly use those set items if you can. But early on, this right here, this Pestilent Decay, the 16 to 32 damage every second that you're standing in combat for everyone around you is just an insane amount of damage. It's basically like Mortis Engine, like right away. So that's another reason to go Nurgle early, is you get these wings, which are just incredibly powerful in the early game against a lot of these infantry factions. Okay, so we're getting that. We're getting the Nurglies. We're getting our Plague Rid next turn. Alright, let's go for it. So yeah, I mean, Slaanesh is strong in the mid game. You do get that discount, that extra 25%, but again, that's overkill late game. Okay, Plague Ridden. Now, I've seen some other content creators try to go for these goblins down here. I think that's a waste of time, because you really don't want to fight these dudes if you can help it, this Greyling, because they will be your friend later. And you just want to minimize your enemies ASAP so that you can focus on going south and killing the humans. So yeah, it's just kind of worthless. Like, they might come at you at some point, who knows. You can probably repel them, though, and it's much better to just go ahead and try to take scaling out of the equation early before they get too strong, and then be ready for this like constant invasion of Southerners coming up here. Okay, so we're gonna come down here. Then we're going to go for a couple of toads. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these blue horrors. I know, like, they can be good if you're theming yourself around Tzeentch, but they are kind of expensive, and I just hate how they get bunched up, and you get friendly fire into your own melee. It's like, they are good with certain kinds of factions. We'll keep the pink ones, because I think having, you know, one ranged unit can be really helpful, but I'm halfway tempted to get rid of the flies, but we might need them, you know, early, so we'll hold on to it. Okay, getting a little bit more. Equip any demonic gift. Okay, it tells you about the demon gifts. Okay, you get Slime Trail, which again, very good. It only has 15 range, so it's really just the unit directly that you're fighting, but lowering it by -5 melee attack's pretty handy. And then these legs, Sinful Footing. Just for the extra armor. It's pretty good. Okay. Go with that. Okay. And then that's pretty much it there. And then, yeah, we just want to take out Bay of Blades, Longship Graveyard, and then the other scaling place. Just try to just run right through those as much as we can. They'll give you quests for fighting those too, so that's another reason to go for those early. So yeah, you're just trying to secure your western front just so you can push mostly east and south. Alright, we'll go ahead and fight it. So yeah, Nurglings, Frogs early. And then I haven't decided whether I should devote these ports to Corn or whether I should devote them to Nurgle. Nurgle does have very good defense, and you do get some nice growth. But I think just trying to get to the bloodletting as soon as possible is, you know, maybe the way to go. It's hard to say. I mean, getting Beasts of Nurgle early, those are pretty handy. But if we can get those Flesh Hounds of Khorne, those are incredibly good, especially against the Wood Elves, which are going to be a problem. They just have so many archers, depending on how big their stack is when they come over. Okay. So this is an area that I like to go for on this map. The main reason is you can line up here, they'll put their tower there and put some of their units there, and then you have a nice ramp you can just run up. Usually they have some stuff over there, but it's relatively unprotected. Two flank units. I don't know why more people, I've said this in other videos, like why don't people use, I don't see any other content creators using hotkeys. At least on your Lord, like, or your hero, it's just so much easier to control them. Like, oh, I need to cast a spell, you know, hotkey, there's the spell, boom. Like, you can even get hotkeys for the spells, I think, but I don't really use those. But if I was really, you know, hardcore multiplayer, I would probably do it. Yeah, I just almost never see anyone doing that. Okay, so we're just going to send those over here. They got both their towers over there, which is kind of annoying. I need to move him up too. Let's see if we go ahead and take that. A couple of our fast-moving units. Yeah, Khorne does have some of the best late-game units as well. My only like major critique of Khorne as a faction is you can't occupy, and their economy is really rough. Like, the economy of Demon Prince is not great, but at least you can occupy. Yeah, but I guess we might as well use the magic. Obviously, like, you're super early, magic is not great. Now, these toads kind of get a bad rap, and I wasn't, like, super big on them, but a viewer had told me before, like, hey, you know, just watch them in combat, because they do get caught, like, in the middle of stuff, and so it's hard to disengage with them, but they also disrupt formations a lot. So they just get in here and they start hopping around and, like, just knocking over stuff. Even when they're not charging, just normally standing there. Like, they have such a good, just, like, ability to knock over units. And it just basically stuns them. It, like, stun locks a lot of infantry. So, they're actually pretty handy to have just one or two of them in there just for that. So, it's not one of those things that, like, shows up on a stat sheet. But is nevertheless, like, pretty good, you know? just... I mean, they should be about done here, I think. I think it's just these dudes left, right? Okay, we're just gonna let those dudes go, because I don't want to go over near the towers. Which way are they bracing? Yeah, you can't really brace when they're getting hit from all sides like that. These guys rally back, probably. Yeah. Okay, now they're done. So obviously, like, just being able to have healing magic with Khorne, and that in and of itself is very strong. But the fact that you also can occupy towns, like, have real income, have real replenishment in some places, and you get a massive discount, like 100% on your main army. I mean, just like, Khorne does have some of the best units. It's a matter of cost and economy. So if you fix the economy, and if you give the magic, specifically healing magic, on late game units that have physical resist, armor, and really high HP pools, like, it's really strong. So it's like, Nurgle's, like, you could do a full Nurgle one, and that would be very strong too. I think you could probably make any of them work, but I just feel like Nurgle's almost certainly the best early game because of the Toads plus the Nurglings combination. We'll try occupying it for Khorne and see how this goes. So with Khorne, as you can see, you get the Flesh Hounds early, but we can't get them because we have a port. We have to have at least a tier 2. But then once we get to tier 2, I'm kind of torn on early game whether I should be doing Bloodletters or Warriors of Chaos. Now these are incredibly, like, good stat-wise. I mean, they're 36-40 on melee attack and defense, respectable weapon strength, and they have 100 armor with silver shields. So, like, missile units just aren't going to do anything to them at all. And they're pretty cost efficient. They have 9,000 HP. And you can get, like, some pretty good buffs for them as well. So they're good, but then the Bloodletters, you know, they have a lot less armor, and they don't look like it on paper that much, but man, those things put out some serious damage late game. I think the Warriors might be better than Stage 1 Bloodletters, but the Stage 2 Bloodletters over here, these Exalted, just start getting crazy bonuses, and they get this whenever they kill 80 units or more, 20% extra damage. So I'm not really sure. We'll see. And this Blood Shrine, I had thought it was pretty bad when I used it with Khorne. It's like, it's okay, but if we're just gonna, like, blob up like that, just having one of those in there, I suppose, just for the extra 5 melee attack on everyone, is reasonable. It's on the way anyways to leveling this up. Gore Beast Chariot, it's kind of whatever. The Skull Cannon's quite good, but you don't get that until later. But anyways. Okay. So we've got that. I think one more Toad, one more Nurgling, because, you know, cost is starting to become a thing. I could just get rid of the Hounds at this point. But I'm not sure. If they have their army just, like, sitting in their town, we could be in for kind of a tough fight. Depends on if they take their army out of the town. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Blessed by the ruin
make sure we have the Cortesian equipped.
This world will burn.
We want Spiked Collar. This Burning Rage, like AoE damage, is pretty decent early on, and then you get extra damage resistance, which is obviously good, and 10 melee attack. And the Spiked Collar, and then Tail. I mean, the Slime Trail is good, but doing the extra 10 to 20 damage to everyone around you is pretty strong as well. So yeah, I think we'll go with the Serpentine Tail.
Ever more unstoppable.
I don't know if they're gonna be there or not if I dash, but I'm gonna try it. Could be spooky. Typically they're not there though, with their main army. I think their main army is usually over here, so kind of using a little bit of our practice of the campaign to our advantage there. But that will save us a turn, which definitely adds up because the boats are going to start coming in soon. Elves and Empire messing with us. Okay. Just kind of pieced out there. Pure victory. Okay. Alright, bro. We'll see about that. So yeah, it's possible we might want like a Beast of Nurgle or maybe one frog or something just for some utility for some of these fights, but kind of interested to try out the Warriors of Chaos. I mean, like, they don't have the physical resist. I don't think they get as many. They do get the huge bonuses versus infantry. You can get up to, I think, faction-wide plus 16 versus infantry or something like that. And you do have halberds also with the Warriors of Chaos. Maybe it's worthwhile just to have like a mix, just to sprinkle in some bloodletters to maybe do like 50-50. So then you've got like your big offense and some of your defense in there. Now, if they have an army here, it can get a little dicey, but it looks like they're not really going to do that. And typically they'll put like a barricade there, which is kind of obnoxious. Yeah. So it's like, maybe I should have started here. They'll put a barricade there, but you can run past that and go into there. We don't have any spears. These guys, okay. We've got to watch out for the javelin throwers and the spears. Back it up, back it up, back it up. Yeah, it's just so annoying how they do this. So they'll have like just a small little thin line of dudes here. And then it starts like wigging your units out, so they like run away. Like barricades are just the worst, man. They're so obnoxious. The way the enemy can like walk through them, but you can't. Speaking of obnoxious. These things just do not listen. They're so annoying. Like, I'm telling them to run over this way. What is this path? Like, they're, like, running this way. What is happening? Those are probably, like, the most bugged units in the game. Those rot flies. They're just so annoying. Like, they can be strong units, but, my god, they just refuse. It's not like they can't get out of combat. They have the weight. Like, they should be able to get out. They just won't. I mean, I'm not going to be too upset if they're gone. Yeah, they're probably just going to die, and I think I'm totally cool with that. It's like, these one little things can just hold off this entire unit. Like, just squat. Okay, let's just run around. But yeah, like, it's not like they don't have the weight to push their way out. It's, they just won't. You, like, click and tell them to leave, and they're just like, nah. Like, some of them will, but then there's always one or two of them that just, like, won't. So yeah, I probably should have moved around the barricade one way or another. Yeah, he always gets like a pretty huge number of kills just with those pestilent wings early on, even without magic, even without, you know, anything else going on. No, he just got on a ship and peaced out. Okay. So these guys are parked in their towns. So that will be a little trickier. But I think we can do it.
Fallen champion. Hellish power.
Okay. I don't think... What is repellent? Okay, +4 melee defense. That's actually not bad.
So much power.
Now, once we get this corn corruption... yeah, local armies... We get bonuses, so... I mean, that does help you in defending your towns. If they're corrupt, because you're going to have extra melee attack. No, it's a percentage, though. It's not like a flat amount, so... The best one is Tzeentch. Tzeentch gets you up to, I think, 10% extra gold from all of your towns, so... I feel like Zinch is almost worth it just for that. So I really wanted to do like a Nurgle plus Zinch, but I just feel like Khorne, just those faction-wide bonuses are just so huge. I don't know. Or not Zinch, Slaanesh, that's what I meant. Slaanesh is pretty good. I just think that just the late game Khorne units are just so strong. Wow, real. Oh no, that's the weak one. Okay. What? Is the other dude in an ambush stance? You want to ambush me, bro? Gore feast, so he heals a little bit, gets a lot of bonuses. Yeah. He's such an ugly looking, like, helm, but okay.
Demon Prince.
You gonna let us fight him?
Conquest.
I guess not. Go ahead and channel here. Maybe. Maybe he thinks he can take us. Nurglings are very underestimated by the AI. Wow, Castalton's already coming? Jeez. Okay, they're bringing the heat this time. Is he just gonna go run and hide in his town, or yeah?
I will drink from your scum. A step two.
Oh, the big army ran all the way away.
Hellish power.
Oh, God.
I
So
cannot
close. I don't think it's gonna let us get it though. There's one little bit of red there.
so pitiful. So weak. On hell sent foot.
I mean, we could raid it.
For your god.
I guess we'll ambush and see. I don't think anything's gonna come of that, but okay. So I think the main town will go for tier 2. 'Cause that's the safest one. That will let us get Beasts of Nurgle if we're interested. Now, if we do it on a different place, Bay of Blades, they're gonna siege that before that happens. But maybe Longship Graveyard. I would like to hire the dogs, the Hounds of Khorne or whatever. Maybe we'll just wait, and then once we take that far town, then we can do the Hounds. Upgrade them and try to go for the Hounds.
Submit yourself to Daemons.
Sure. Okay, so they switched back. Man, if I could have gotten that 1 pixel. Okay, so this is going to be a reasonably challenging fight,
Chaos.
but I think we can beat him. Let's do it.
Only God.
Gotta watch for these javelin throwers. Other than that, I think we should be able to take most of them. And these dudes are pretty annoying, but hopefully our pink horrors can take care of them. Alright, let's do it. Oh, okay, yeah. This is an easier map than the last one. The last one's really annoying. This one's a more standard, the one that we saw earlier, basically, where you just start right at the fork and just run up the ramp. Then you're not getting hit by that many towers. There aren't that many barricades in your way. Yeah, this is one of the better maps to siege, I think. Not siege, but yeah, you don't know what I mean. Whatever the term is, attack. Okay. Wonder if I could just start like right over here and. What's the range on those? I think I can fire up this ramp potentially. Whoa, what is firing on me? Jeez. I guess those spears maybe did some serious damage. Okay, I guess we'll just wait a second over here. Okay, we cannot let those spears, like, come at us. These things. These otter javelins. Okay, we firing? Okay, yeah, we're firing the pink stuff on them. There we go. It's hard to see with this, like, map. It's kind of goofy. Okay, we're doing some pretty good damage to him. Yeah, some of our frogs are getting a little dinged up here in these spears, which is not awesome, but they're building a barricade there. What is this? It's spearmen. Wait, where are they? Right there, right there. These might get wiped, we'll see. I guess they're getting shot at by the towers. I'm not gonna be too sad if the Slaanesh things get wiped. I mean, they are very good, but we're not really speccing into Slaanesh. Oh, get that. That's what's doing all the damage, these, like, throwers. Oh, there were other axes over there, too, throwing at him. Okay. Guess I could have been casting that a little bit earlier. It does lower melee attack by a lot, so that's helpful. Yeah. Flankers, it's not amazing that our flankers got knocked out, because against those elves in particular, that could be a problem. We could get more toads, but they're not as good as some other options. Now I could really go for some Stream of Corruption right about now. Boys, get in here. Get in this area. This tower's gonna take him down. Whoa, why is this dude getting murdered so hard? Okay. No, what are these? Just great weapon marauders? Maybe it's probably these javelins for focus firing them. Those nerdlings, man. I'm telling you. They are survivors. No, they're not getting focus fired by a lot of things either. So that is a consideration, but... yeah, just having something that can put poison, I think, with the toads later, or like Beasts of Nurgle or something, that's pretty handy. It's 15% extra damage reduction. And the toads do have this Cloudify, so do the beasts. Alright. Whoa. Okay, they're just like hiding there, I guess. Trying to sit there and block. I'll start yeeting on these kids. Is that still a thing? That's probably out. Okay, I think they're probably about to run soon, hopefully. Just go take their town square here in a second. The frogs take more damage than it seems like they should, but they are kind of like big targets. Okay, yeah, they're done. Might try to run them down. I don't know if this affects how much glory you get or not. Just kind of like kills at the end. Like, I think the flesh hounds are probably, like, they're almost certainly better just run down and go kill archers, you know, flanking types of units. The frogs, I think, are better at just, like, just standing on the front line, just knocking stuff around a little bit against low-level infantry that doesn't have a lot of weight. The frogs don't weigh a ton, but they weigh more than infantry do. 1,200, yeah. I mean, these are like the lightest of the light, 125. Yeah. I think even these are kind of light too, I think. 125. So yeah, I mean, they're pretty heavy. Okay. So we had to say goodbye to the Slanesh units, which... those are very good. Seekers are very good units, but we're not going to get a discount on them, so they are disproportionately higher price if you're not specializing in them. Those Bloodletters put in some work for sure. Oh my god, the main guy killed 500. Mostly with just his aura, but that little explosion thing does quite a bit of damage too. Yeah, Nurglings didn't do a ton of damage, but they also didn't take a lot of damage either. And they soaked a lot. It's really just the spears on the frogs, I think, that were kind of problematic.
Chaos lives here now.
Okay.
Demon Prince.
So we'll get back here next episode. I think that does give us extra recruitment capacity. That is actually quite handy. We are going to have a rebellion sometime soon. Nurgle for the growth is like, okay. But yeah, their recruitment capacity is pretty big. And it just gives us 3 extra glory. So, glory checkup. We've got enough for the Warriors of Corn. And then we're about to get... We're coming up on the Blood Shrine and the Bloodletting. The Bloodletting is really where it starts to get pretty strong. And the dual weapons, like, once we can get the dual weapons with all the other bonuses, like, they should be able to put down some serious damage against non-armored things. So we'll see. But anyways, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did. Check out the rest of the content on the channel. We've also got a Nurgle playthrough. Like I said before, we've got Ogres, we've got Cathay, and we're eventually going to get every faction in-depth playthrough and in-depth guides. So be sure to check all that out. But that's going to be it. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.